Jessica Alba has been right in the middle of the action this year. She kicked things off starring as a lasso-wielding exotic dancer in the comic book adaptation of Sin City. She followed that role by playing Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, in the summer blockbuster The Fantastic Four. Now she's starring in Into the Blue, a tense underwater thriller set in dangerous, shark-infested waters of the Bahamas. Jessica Alba, good morning. Nice to have you here. Can I just point out the clip there?
Yeah.
That was actually you pushing the shark away with your hand, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the sharks, when I was wearing that hoodie, they would think I was a fish. They're not the smartest animals in the world. So I saw them in the peripheral. I saw the shark coming towards my head in the side of my goggles, and I turned around and his mouth was open, and I just jabbed him away from me.
But when you first signed on to this movie, did they tell you you'd be that close to sharks? Is that the closest you'd ever been to one before?
That's certainly the closest I've ever been. Yeah, absolutely. I was a shark wrangler in the movie, but I play someone who educates people on sharks. And then when we get to the Bahamas, John Stockwell, the director, was like, no, we're going to be with wild sharks every single day.
The people we're seeing in the movie are free diving, okay,
right,
which is kind of a combination of snorkeling and scuba diving. Just explain, you basically hold your breath, though.
Yeah, it's like an X Games version of scuba diving, or snorkeling. And so you hold your breath, and then you go down. I go down, I mean, the farthest I ever went was 60 feet, but they go to like hundreds of feet deep, and you hold your breath for minutes at a time.
So how long can you hold your breath?
Only a minute and a half.
A minute and a half is a long, I can hold my breath for like 25 seconds.
But that was like after 4 months of practicing.
So you trained to get up to that.
Right.
But you had done a lot of scuba diving.
Yeah, I had, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the plot. They're treasure hunters who find this sunken ship.
Well, actually, we're people who live in the Bahamas, Paul's character and my character, and we find a broken treasure ship and a plane filled with cocaine and dead bodies. And so it turns from being this like vacation to this like horrifying experience.
Can you explain how hard it is to shoot a movie? I think 2/3 of this movie
is underwater.
So take after take, you didn't get that right. Jessica, you missed your mark. Can you please be over there?
And the water was 70 degrees. We froze our butts off.
How long did it take to shoot this?
It took 4 months in the Bahamas.
Now,
in the water every day. Those were real sharks that I was feeding, and of course they give me chainmail when I'm with the sweet sharks that just suction the fish. But when I'm with the real sharks in the middle of the ocean, as you can see, I'm not wearing anything, you know, just bathing suits.
Let me talk about, yeah, that's a good segue. Let me talk about your image a little bit. You've said in interviews you're a modest person.
I am.
You don't consider yourself to be overly sexual.
I'm not.
You have a no nudity clause in your movie contracts. Yeah. And yet you do get asked a lot to play the character who's kind of in a bathing suit
well,
there.
Well, let me tell you, when I read the script, I thought we were going to be wearing wetsuits. And then we get down to the Bahamas, and they're like, oh, but it looks so much better when you guys are just in your bathing suit. We already shot footage with the doubles.
That's what I'm curious about. Do you get a feeling when the directors talk to you that they're hiring you because they want what emotional elements you can bring to the role? Or do you think in some ways that they're going, they know how I look and they want to see me in a bathing suit a little bit?
I think it's a combination. I'm not stupid, you know. Like, I know that they want to put young girls and young men in bathing suits. It's just, you know, that's just the way it is.
But you're making enough of a name for yourself in Hollywood now where I think in the coming years you're going to be able to choose roles that are a little bit different.
And when I was playing Sue Storm and when I got hired for Sin City, it had nothing to do with my ability to dance, even though everyone seems to think that that's the whole reason why I got hired. It really was me finding the character and doing scenes with Bruce Willis, and that's really why I did the movie.
Well, this one's called Into the Blue.
This one's Into the Blue, yes.
And it opens in theaters this Friday. It's always good to have you here. Come back and see us.
Thank you.
Swing a hammer. Swing a mean hammer there, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Up next, the legendary Stevie Nicks performing live in concert on the Plaza. But first, this is Today.